Om Sai Ram. Sai Leela, episode 38. It was quite safe to stay at Shirdi when Sai Baba ordered. It was by leaving without permission that a man invited trouble. The following case of Abdur Rahman Shamsuddin Rangeri, a Muslim devotee, is illustrated here. In 1913, there was plague at Thane, where I lived, and also I think at Shirdi. My wife had been suffering for a month from some disease. Her throat and cheeks were swollen and she could not eat nothing. She was taking medicine, but it did not help her. A Hindu neighbor, R.G. Gupta, a lawyer, advised me to take her to Sai Baba of Shirdi. That advised me to take her to Sai Baba at Shirdi, as that would cure that disease. When I started out, she was unable to swallow anything, but by the time I reached Iktapuri, she could take tea, and by Nasik she could swallow something. This was a good omen. She was improving rapidly. On reaching Shirdi, I went to the mosque and bowed down before Sai Baba. He asked me in Hindustani where I came from and why, and told me to bring my wife to the mosque. I took her up the steps and she bowed before him. He put his hand on her head and said, "Khuda acha karega. God will put it right." I gave him 1 rupee 4 annas without being asked, and he accepted it and gave me udi. I stayed there for 2 hours. My wife's swelling was subsiding fast, so we started back at once without taking leave of Sai Baba. He had told me to stay, but since a cure had been effected, I thought we might as well start. I did not like to stay in a strange place longer than necessary, especially with my wife and 2-year-old son. The Tonga in which we had come was still in the village, so we took it and started back from Kupargaon. About 6 miles away, we had gone about half a distance while the axle of the Tonga broke and we were left strangled on the road. It was about 10 o'clock at night and there was no traffic. We could not neither walk forward nor back such a distance at night. It was a lonely road and our predicament was amicable, exposed to the night weather and in danger of highwaymen who infested the road. We repented now our disregard of Sai Baba's words. 2 hours passed in this way, and then we heard a rattle of carriage approaching and a voice calling out, "Where is this fellow from Thane?" A Tonga came up to us, and seeing that it was the driver who was calling out, and I told that I was from Thane and asked how he knew our plead and happened to arrive there at such unusual hour. He said Sai Baba had sent me. "What for?" I asked. "To fetch you," he replied. So got into the Tanga and went back to Shirdi. It was between 1 and 2 o'clock in the morning when we arrived there. Baba was waiting for us at the mosque. He said, "You left without permission. That is why you have had this trouble." I admitted it and asked for forgiveness. He made us stay near the mosque for the rest of the night. He went in and carried out his usual meditation. In the morning, he went out to beg and came back with some bread and vegetables, of which he took a part and gave the rest to us. My wife was able to eat solid food. Then he gave us leave to go. This was my only visit to Shirdi, but it gave me a firm faith in Sai Baba. The next Leela is of Mr. S.B. Nachne. In 1909, some events took place which at that time seemed to have nothing to do with Sai Baba. My elder brother was undergoing an operation at Bajekere Hospital in Bombay, and we were all anxious about it. I was living at Dhanu then. That day, a sadhu came and asked me for a piece of bread. We invited him into the house and gave him a full meal. My sister-in-law served him all the dishes except lady's finger, which she did not consider good enough to offer to a holy and a honored guest. However, the sadhu himself asked for lady's finger, so it was served. He blessed us all before leaving and told us that the operation had become successful. On the same day, my friend H.M. Pasne told me that he hoped the operation would be successful by the grace of Sai Baba. That was the first time I ever heard of Sai Baba. Later in the evening, my father returned from the hospital and we learnt from him that the operation had been successful and that there were no complications. After the operation, a sadhu had appeared and approaching the patient passed his hand over the operated part and over the whole body, and he said that everything will be alright. My brother recovered and he had no setback. In 1912 that I first went to Shirdi. During my stay there, Sai Baba showed great interest in me and my family. In the presence of Dikshit, Jog and Dabholkar, the three older devotees, he said, pointing to me, I went to that man's house and he did not give me lady's finger. My mind immediately darted back to the sadhu who had dined with us at that time of my brother's operation, and I felt sure that Baba was interested in our welfare and was helping us as early as 1909 without our knowledge. I told the devotees the incident of the lady's finger, that sadhu had quite a different appearance from Sai Baba. I saw him for about 2 to 3 days after the operation and had an opportunity of observing him at close quarters. After that, he left Dhanu and was not seen there again. How are we to understand this incident? Did Sai Baba actually materialize in the form of strange fakirs and sadhus, or did he merely influence them from a distance to act in accordance with his will? It is noteworthy that to people who had seen him, he usually appeared in a strange form, more often appeared in his own, as thought considered the additional work of disguise unnecessarily, though there were incidents when he appeared likeness to those who knew him also. The next Leela is of Lakshman Rao Govind Rao Munge. A poor man named Lakshman Rao Govind Rao Munge lived in Nasik. He used to sit in the threshold of Nasik court. He did some documentation work and at the end of the day he earned only a rupee or 1.5 rupee. In those days, for a girl to be given to marriage, only boy's qualification, salary, etc. was not considered by her family. The boy may be poor, but his family's behavior with others, and above all, maternal uncle's family had to be good. Lakshman Rao's maternal uncle lived in Rahata. Due to his maternal uncle's good family background and high position, Lakshman Rao's marriage was fixed in a good family. Now the question was of money for the expenses of his marriage. He had to compulsorily give gold ornaments and the whole expenses of the marriage was to be borne single-handed. Moreover, in those days, a man was valued by his word of mouth. If a man had promised to give something in social functions like marriage or similar occasions, those words could not be taken back. It would be better to consume poison rather than turning back from one's word. Lakshman Rao was worried about the expenses. Like a person has hope a single star in a dark night. So Lakshman Rao had hope from his uncle. He was confident that his uncle would help him in monetary terms. Thinking likewise, he started to Rahata to his uncle's place from Nasik. In between, he came to Shirdi, Sai Baba's holy land. Lakshman Rao came to Sai Baba's Dwarka Mai and fell at his feet. Sai Baba gave him 2 mangoes to eat. Those mangoes were incredibly sweet in taste. Then Lakshman Rao sat massaging Sai Baba's feet. Sai Baba started talking to him and said, whatever is written in your fate, you are bound to get it. Always have a feeling of satisfaction in your heart and be happy with whatever you have. Without God's order, even a leaf cannot move. So, Don't worry and always try to be simple, honest and truthful. He said, I'm independent and have independent thoughts, is said by many people. But this is not true. God is the only doer. We are dependent on Him. My son, no one is relative of anyone. Relatives are only for show, but no one come to help you in critical situations. If you want 1000 rupees, I can give you. Lakshman Rao failed to understand what Sai Baba wanted to say. Then left for Rahata to his uncle's place. His uncle refused to help him. Now Lakshman Rao was reminded of Sai Baba's words that no one is relative of anyone. Relationships and relatives are only for show off. If you want, I can give you money. Walking out of Rahata village, he further thought, every day Sai Baba distributes all the money he received as dakshina, and the next day he becomes a poor fakir. Then how come he can give me such a big amount of money? But now he started praying to Sai Baba mentally. Oh God, Sainath, you are omnipotent. I don't have that much courage to understand your sweet words. I am not intelligent and my devotion to you is also less than that. Oh God, bless me. You have promised me to give 1000 rupees, but I cannot understand the exact meaning of your words. Now he reached to a place named Sinor. There was a big business of cigarette and tobacco of Gujarat traders in Sinor, and Lakshman Rao was initially introduced to a Gujarati trader. After a couple of meetings, the trader generated trust on Lakshman Rao. So he gave Lakshman Rao 30 tolas. A tola means 10 grams of gold. A nose ring, which was considered to be important in Marathi tradition, and a gold studded pair ankles. In this way, Sai Baba arranged money for the expenses of Lakshman Rao's marriage, being a poor fakir. Is it not Sai Baba's Leela? Here, Lakshman Rao met the Gujarati trader and in turn was helped by a stranger. Thus, by Sai Baba's grace, Lakshman Rao's marriage went off without any trouble and he was ever grateful to Sai Baba. Here we come to end of Sai Leela episode 38. Om Sai Ram.